After striking gold many times over with their trend-setting aircraft simulations, Microprose has decided to enter the sports simulation arena. Their premier product in this field, NFL Coaches Club Football, will instantly appeal to armchair coaches everywhere. Among all categories of games for the PC, the one of sports is definitely the most lacking in quality titles. If you are a certified couch potato, you snatch up new releases immediately and anticipate the loading of them onto your computer with a little more fever than the average game. More often than not, however, they turn out to be just that, average, good in either playability or in strategy and realism, but never both. Consider the best-selling football games around for the IBM. Mike Ditka Ultimate Football, which is great to play with a friend and has terrific play editor, but against the computer your score will end up being triple digits. Microleagues games, which have no action involvement whatsoever and are also way too complicated, and Front Page Football Pro, which does a decent job of combining action, strategy, and design, but is too intimidating at first and has a very steep learning curve. Even after being let down so many times by so many games, give Club a shot solely on the grounds that it is from Microprose. They have a habit of breaking new ground in the gaming world rather consistently, so doubting them would be foolish. If the mere knowledge of Microprose forte isn't enough, it is further implied on the back of the box that this is a game for coaches, not players. If you picture yourself as a better Dan Marino than Dan Reeves, either sustain yourself with one of the not quite games listed above, or go buy Tecmo Super Bowl for a game system. However, if you do fit the mold of coach even a little bit, you'll find a lot to enjoy in this game, especially if you follow a certain NFL team. The 1993 rosters of all 28 teams are present in Club, minus any last-minute changes, and all players are rated in categories which specifically pertain to their position. One rather humorous and not so surprising detail, however, is that a few names, those of some famous players and coaches, are slightly altered because Microprose could not agree on a contract with them. Don't worry, 49er fans, rice and pilaf are pretty much the same thing. But enough with semantic babble. Rice, pilaf, couscous, names don't matter, the game matters. I suggest you get some popcorn and beverage before I continue. You're in for a dose of realism that is yet to be seen in PC sports. Hurry up, you don't want to miss the kickoff. Being a coaching sim, the principle of this game is to let the computer do the dirty work and make you use your brain. Even at first sight, the interface is simple. Each team has a unique and true-to-life playbook that you, as coach, call plays from. The CPU runs the play and takes care of assessing penalties and keeping statistics. Therefore, young fans and inexperienced gamers can play the game and actually succeed on the first try. The real beauty of this game, however, is seen by enthusiasts who fit the stereotype of Joe fan screaming at his television that he could have coached the game better than the coach did. Club, more than any other game on the market, is made for these people. They'll get everything they want and more. Play calling will quickly take a back seat to messing around with this game's fantastic options. For example, Microprose gave Club some of the magic that propelled their flight sims into the gaming stratosphere. Specifically, the use of virtual camera technology is a great addition. Club ships with 10 or so preset camera angles, but you can easily raise, lower, and rotate them to create custom angles, which can be saved. Ever wish that TV would give you a better view of the action? At least now you can get a better view somewhere. One complaint though, manipulation of the camera, and everything else besides play calling, is done with function and alt key combinations. The mouse works well for plays and menus. Why wouldn't it work well for other things? Speaking of menus, Club is loaded with them. Don't be intimidated though, they're easy to wade through, and many of them appear only in optional areas of the game. The instant replay button bar is one menu you'll find yourself using a lot, particularly in your coaching debut, when your idea of a highlight will be any play in which yards are gained. Spoil yourself all you want, but keep in mind that saving big plays takes hard drive space. Another convenient feature lets you configure Club so that it automatically saves touchdowns and safeties only. Graphically, Club exceeded any expectations in almost every area. Ironically, the most unimpressive part of it is the actual playing screen. It doesn't look bad, but once you witness the animated sequences that Microprose feeds you prior to kickoff, you'll expect the motion on the field to be as smooth and fluid. Don't. The grass, even on the highest detail level, looks grainy, and the players' uniforms lack the detail of those in Front Page Pro. Realistically, though, you won't be disappointed unless you're a FP Pro diehard. There are several nice touches in the gameplay that, if nothing else, shows MicroPro's attention to detail. The most noticeable of these is the animated polygon referee, who appears in a window and signals first downs, penalties, and scores when they occurred. Also present is the ability to display the jersey numbers or last names of players on the field so you can keep track of them during a play. Finally, for those who need to actually control the ball carrier every once in a while, a very primitive action mode is included. Don't bother, it's not worth it. By the way, it's important to remember that the coaches in Coaches Club pertains to the real coaches of the NFL, not to you. Obviously, when you play a league game with your favorite team, your coaching strategies are the ones that count. But what about the other 27 teams that are simulated by your PC? A clever system is used to individualize the league's coaches and their coaching methods. Instead of a number scale, MicroProse utilizes a list of contradicting coaching schemes, man coverage versus zone coverage, and shows which one of the two schemes each coach prefers and how strong his preference is. This makes for more realism in contests where both teams involved are computer controlled. Furthermore, at halftime of any game you play, the real coach of the team you're using gives you his advice on what you need to improve for the second half. Isn't this great? Something you always need to keep in mind is the physical condition of your players. The timeout menu is the door to any information you need or want during play. You'll use it most often for taking timeouts, substituting players, and checking your stats. You'll be doing all three fairly regularly. Unlike most other football sims, the computer is usually a decent opponent in this game, but it's a good idea to know what kind of coach you're going up against and adjust your game plan accordingly. For instance, against a team that plays a 4-3 defense and rarely blitzes, use the passing game to win. The more you know about real football, the better you'll do. Club contains a play editor, of course, but only the most patient of fans will want to tackle it, no pun intended. Should you be so bold, the editor is powerful and contains all the tools for building a powerhouse offense and defense from scratch. To sum it up, Club is the ideal companion for any football lover who wants to see what it's like to run their favorite team. Before you run out and buy it, though, understand that it isn't a Sega Genesis football game for the PC. It's made for those who want to find the fun in controlling a team rather than controlling the players. If you're one of those, then yes, it is a good game.